Hi everybody, it's Kara, and I have an altered art project that I want to share with you. As I think many of you probably did, I started out a very traditional, or what would be called a traditional crafter. I started out with like scrapbook layouts and cards and things like that, and gradually I've branched out and tried new things like making my own stick pins and charms and some mini albums and junk journals and things like that. And I'm really starting to like a lot of the altered art projects that people are doing. I think that for me, it feels like there's less rules to doing it, and you can just kind of relax and have a little bit more fun with some of them. That doesn't mean I don't like all of those other traditional things, but it's just nice to kind of take a break and in some ways kind of play. So that's what I did with this project. I had some dominoes, and I decided I wanted to do an altered domino project, and I had seen lots of dominoes altered in different swaps and on blogs and things like that. And a lot of the times they alter the domino, but this backside that has the black and white, pattern for the dots wasn't really altered. It wasn't really covered. And I didn't really like that very much. If you do, that's great. Not a problem. Just wasn't really my thing. And I stumbled across a blog that the lady does some really fantastic altered things. And one of the things she did was an altered domino book. And I loved it because it actually decorates or hides this back part, and it makes a really cool little keepsake. And so what an altered domino book looks like, at least one I made, is like this. It has two dominoes. It has a little accordion book inside, and then you close it somehow. I closed all of mine the same with ribbon on both sides. But you basically then get to decorate two dominoes and make a little teeny booklet for the inside of it. And it was a ton of fun. I've made several, and I'll show you this one in a little bit more detail, but I was going to talk to you a little bit about how I made it in case you're interested. I had some of these size dominoes. They are the ones that had the little metal piece in here, but I just pried those out and then of course cleaned them up because they were kind of a mess when I bought them. And then this one, which you can see is quite a bit thinner, hopefully you can see it's quite a bit thinner, was sent to me along with several others from one of my crafty friends, Kim. So you could also use this size. But basically you want to do this project with, excuse me, what is considered kind of an average size domino, which should be 1 by 2. And this is pretty close, so this one should work as well. But not like the little mini ones. This would be impossible just about to do for those little mini ones. What you do is first you alter the dominoes. And of course you want two that match in size. So you'd alter both of them. And you can do that a variety of ways. I mostly used the alcohol inks and some of the mixatives that you can put in there. And I used, of course, the little felt tool, but you can use a homemade one or something else that works. And I colored them all up. Here's an example of one of them. This is the one I have to finish. And I used some greens and browns and a little bit of the gold mixative. And basically you cover the whole front and the sides and then a little bit on the inside, because you're going to see the little booklet covers up most of the domino, but a little bit of the edge will show. So you want to bring your whatever you do, however you decorate it, you want to bring it over and cover it up around the edges. Basically kind of like I did. I put it all over the place because I wanted to make sure that you didn't see a lot of the creamy color of the domino. You can do other things besides alcohol inks. You can paint them. You can stamp on them. You can Mod Podge them. I have one that I alcohol inked and did a Mod Podge treatment on, so you can do that. You can use image transfers. You can use tissue paper or napkins and Mod Podge that on. And you'll see in one of mine that you can also do lace. So there's lots of options for how you decorate it. So the first thing is you get two of them decorated that are the same size so you can make your book. And then of course you have to make the inside little booklet. And to do that, you're going to need a strip of paper that is 1 7/8 of an inch wide and 9 inches long. And at the end there will be a little teeny piece you cut off, but it's just simpler to have that on for the scoring and folding part of it. So depending on what you're doing, you may want to decorate your booklet, your strip of paper first before doing the scoring like I did here. This one is a stamped booklet inside, and I did it similar on both sides. These are Lawn Fawn stamps, and if you've watched my videos, you know how I love gingerbread. So after you have it decorated, if you're going to decorate it first, then you're going to score it and fold it. And basically, you are going to score it so where each section is 7/8 of an inch wide. So they all measure up to 7/8 of an inch, so that when they fold, they're just a little bit smaller than the domino, and they don't overlap anywhere. And you can also see from looking at this why you want to have a little bit of your, however you decorate it, the alcohol ink, the paint, the whatever, on the sides. But then once it's adhered, as you can see, all of the inside or the backside stuff is covered up. Okay? So once you score it and fold it really well, you just put your adhesives on the two sides, and that's going to be how you adhere it to the domino. But before you do that, you need to adhere your ribbon or seam binding or whatever type of closure to the domino. And I usually take a little bit of a liquid adhesive, in my case I use Glossy Accent, and I put it in here and I let it dry for a little bit and get, you know, on there pretty firmly, just like this one. Now obviously this would be pretty easy to rip off, but it's just the first step in adhering the ribbon. The second will be that all of the score tape will help keep it there as well, just like so. So then you would, once these two things dried, you'd adhere both ends, and then you could tie it together just like this one, and you'd have your little book. Okay? So again, for this strip of paper, it ends up being, or you start with, a piece of paper that's 9 inches long and 1 7/8 inch wide. You score every 7/8 of an inch, and at the end you'll have a teeny little piece that you cut off. That will give you the perfect little size booklet to fit inside and not overlap the domino. If you have any questions about that, just leave them down below for me and I will get back to you as soon as possible. I want to go ahead and show you the ones that I've made. This one is just kind of an artsy themed one. I did alcohol ink it. I used some silver leaf pen on the outside. I put it on originally really thick, and then I didn't like how it looked so thick on there, so I sanded it off, and hopefully you can kind of see some of the creamy color of the domino peeking out. And then I stamped on a sentiment stamp on both sides with StazOn ink. And then I had stamped on a silhouette, and I just didn't like the way it looked. Again, I used StazOn ink. It was just kind of blotchy, and I wiped it off, hoping I could just kind of have a do-over. And it took off all of the ink and the other stamp that was below it, and I just really liked the way that it turned out. So that is actually totally accidental. But just so you know, if you put StazOn on top of this stuff and wipe it off real fast before it dries, it takes all of this off and leaves kind of a cool image. Then I added a couple stickers that says "She Said," and then I put on, hopefully you can kind of see the crackle accent on there. And when that was dry, I adhered a crown charm that I had. I took off the little looped part that, you know, allows you to attach it to something, and did that. And then on the back, I added another little stamp with StazOn. I crackle accented this one as well, and then this is a little hinge that I had bought a long time ago. It's close to my heart product. They probably don't even make anymore, but I thought it looked cute just sitting up there. And then this time I used kind of a wider cream ribbon, and the inside on this one looks like this. I did kind of a combo of some images that I found on Etsy, which I cut down and I distressed the edges of in the black soot so they match the black paper. And you can see they have some vintage children's images on there. I think it's really cute. And then sticking kind of to that color theme on the back, I took some of my own stamps and embossed every little panel, as well as some of the edges up there. in colors that kind of coordinated with the images. So this is my, like I said, kind of my artsy set, or my artsy book. I really like the way that one turned out. It's really cute. Then I made one that was Marie Antoinette themed, because that seems to be a big deal in a lot of the blogs I was looking at, so I thought I'd give that a try. Again, I alcohol inked it. This time I used an image that I just cut out and I put glossy accent on top of it. And I added some of those Dresden foil papers and a crown on the front. And on the back it's simply the alcohol ink and a sentiment stamp that I used, I stamped on with StazOn. Again, I had the little closure. Oh, and I should point out I did put feet on some of these. This last one, what I used were the little rhinestone rondelles. Hopefully you can see that. So they'll stand on the little feet. On this one, I used little bead cap type things that I had. And I just adhered them with either glossy accents or E6000, depending on the size. So jewelry findings are great for feet, is what I've discovered. That's what I used on all of mine. I think you could use probably a variety of things. So here are the images that I used for the Marie Antoinette. And again, I just found these on Etsy, cut them down. And then on the back side, I used the sentiment stamp just to create that background. And as you can see, I used a cream cardstock. This is some of that, oh, I can't remember that really pretty pink. That's that new seasonal color. Well, it's not new anymore, but the Tim Holtz, from that Tim Holtz set. It matched really well. So there's that one. And then the last one, I did a theme. I used Audrey Hepburn images because I love her. And I love the Breakfast at Tiffany's movie, and I know I should have done this a Tiffany blue, but I liked the pink, so I just went with that. And this one I did that Mod Podge with the lace after I alcohol inked it, I think, which looks really pretty. I did it a little bit bigger, and then when it dried, I cut down the edges so that it perfectly fit the domino, added a little bit of bling. On this side I used one of the images and some bling, tied it with some thin black ribbon, both sides. Ooh. And then I did images along with some pretty pattern paper from the movie on both sides. And then this last one you saw, I'll be finishing up, is the Christmas themed one where I did the stamped background and added some stickles in various places. And then on both sides of the dominoes here, I had these really cool snowflake images. They actually had a little brad in the center here to attach it. I took the brad out, adhered it to the domino, and then this is just some stickles that I put in the middle of each of them. And they're going to look like that when I get that little booklet in there with the red seam binding. So I did a seasonal one for that. So hopefully you can see how many options there are with these little projects. I really had a ball with these. These were a lot of fun to make. And you pretty much can do whatever you want to them. I mean, you can decorate them with a variety of material. You can also, if you wanted to, drill holes in these and adhere them that way. You know, you could run thin ribbon or string of some kind through here and seal them up that way too, and that would be a lot of fun. Or if you designed yours differently, you could wrap the ribbon all the way around and tie it at the side. Just depends on how you do it, but I think the options are pretty limitless with this project. And I had such a good time doing these that I decided this next month in October over at Craft Happens, I'm going to host an Altered Domino book swap. So if you guys are interested in joining, that swap will be going up in a few days. Come over and check it out. If not, and you just want to play and have fun with these, please do so, because this was a lot of fun to make. I really, really enjoyed it. I think they're really cute collectibles. You could also, like I said, turn this into a pendant for someone, you know, on a big long chain. I think it would be a lot of fun. And, you know, if you wanted to make the book a little bit thinner, shorter or longer, you could do that as well. But I think, like I said, the possibilities with this are pretty much endless, and you can just have a lot of fun doing this particular project. So sorry for the length of this. I know I kind of went on and on, but I was a little bit excited about this one. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you're at. Bye!